So a little while ago, I made a video where I mentioned this freak truck incident of mine where a tree fell on my truck. And well, it's much more involved than that. It wasn't just a parked truck that a tree fell on. And many of you wanted more context to this story, so I figured, why not just make an entire video on this, rehash the brutal details of this for your entertainment, and kind of, now that there's been some time, I can laugh at the incident. And I guess let's just get into it. So basically, the number one reason why a big box truck gets damaged is because of what's called the clear height, basically how tall the truck is. Most people aren't used to driving around something that's between 13 and 14 and a half feet tall. So things get hit every once in a while. Tree branches, awnings in parking lots, things that jut out of buildings, you name it. If it's tall enough, someone has ran their truck into it. We've been lucky enough with the hundreds of thousands or maybe millions of miles that we've driven in our trucks through my moving company. We've had very few incidents. But of course, there have been some, and this is the biggest and most brutal incident of them all. Maybe I'll have to do like a rating my top 5 truck crashes or something video at some point in the future, but this one's probably the worst. Anyways, here's what happened. I had a driver who was pulling into a gas station, and they were kind of going along the right-hand side, outside the pumps. And this is a totally normal maneuver. Going around the outside, there were some trees along the outside of it. And, also, this wasn't this driver's first incident, but I'll get into that more later. So he's driving around the outside, and there's a lowish hanging tree branch. I guess I shouldn't say branch because it's this big around, but it's lowish hanging. The closer you get to the wall, the lower it is. So this driver's hugging the wall too close, hits this branch. Now, normally, this would just be like a broken end cap, basically that corner piece of the top of the truck. Those can get busted. You can replace them. It costs like between $500 and $800 to get them replaced. Not anything I want to do regularly, but not the end of the world if that happens. Normally that's what happened. Well, in this case, the truck is driving through, it hits that big branch, and instead of hitting the branch and breaking that end cap, the tree/branch kind of lifts up and then falls on the truck. Now, this is a really old tree, and I have a video of the base of the tree where you can see that it is completely cracked and like this tree was ready to fall. So basically what happened, the tree kind of trunk branch thing got lifted up and then fell on the truck. And now the truck is stuck with this massive log of a branch wedged in there, just completely shattered the wood and the fiberglass. Tree stuck in the truck. The truck is stuck at this lot. And this is when we get a call, hey, a tree fell on our truck and we're at this gas station. We're gonna need some help. So I go, it was actually only about a mile from our office, so literally right down the road. I go, and that was a bit of a fib saying, hey, a tree fell on our truck. It was more like I hit a tree, then it fell on our truck. And this is when we were assessing the complete damage. So we work out a deal with the manager of the gas station. He has a tree crew come because, like I said, the truck is literally stuck there. So the crew shows up, and we have a photo of that, them kind of assessing what to do. They had like a crew of 4 or 5 guys. What they had to do, because they couldn't cut the tree from the bottom of the tree like normal, you cut a tree and it kind of timber falls down. They had to have someone climb the tree over the truck, over all the damage, and then start cutting it off from the end, piece by piece, cutting off branches from the very top all the way down, work its way down in way so they could free the truck. And the whole time the driver is there, we said, you have to stay here and watch all this madness. And he's just walking around the parking lot like hands on his head because, like I said, this wasn't his first incident. Probably like 2 months before that, he had backed up into a gate and bent that a little bit. That is completely my fault for even having him drive again in the first place. And if you watch my other video about my top mistakes of being a business owner, driver training is one of my most major mistakes in the beginning, where I just wasn't as diligent about it. I recognize it's dumb to let someone who's caused an incident keep doing the thing in which he caused the incident. You don't need to let me know about that. He's well aware. He never drove again after that. So he obviously feels bad. I obviously feel bad because now I have to pay thousands of dollars to fix this. But then finally, the tree is freed from the truck. The truck actually can still drive after that because all that's damaged is the wood on the box. And nothing mechanical is really damaged. Obviously, it can't be used in that shape. Reasonably anyways. No one wants to see skinny whip movers with a big hole cut in the side of their box truck driving down the road. That's not exactly a good look. So anyways, we had to take it to the mechanic. This was a mechanic that I'd used many, many times over the years. We took it to him. I was hoping and praying that maybe it could be patched somehow, some kind of fiberglass patch. The way it was broken, it just didn't work. We needed an entirely new box, which is not cheap, but you can buy them used for around like $5,000 or $6,000 in pretty good shape. So it was up to him to source a box and replace it. And this is where the next nightmare comes into play. I'm not sure what exactly happened to this mechanic. Over the years, I've had this process where I'll get a mechanic who's good for a short period of time, and then something happens and then they're terrible. And this guy decided to flip the switch and be terrible at this point in time. I'm not sure exactly why. So the truck's there and he's just not getting anything done. We're calling him regularly, like every single week, like, what's the update here? We need this truck back. We're paying for a rental truck this entire time. When a truck is down, it's not just having to pay for the damage or the insurance deductible or whatever. You have to pay for a replacement truck the whole time. That way you can still get jobs done. And this is the number one reason why moving companies go out of business, because something happens to their truck. They can't afford rental trucks every single day. So it adds up really fast. So we're bugging him and bugging him and bugging him. And he would do this thing where he would get just enough progress to where we would let him just keep working on it. And then, eventually that just drags on and on and on. In totality, he had this truck for 4 months where I wasn't able to use it, obviously. And then he finally got the box on there. We begrudgingly paid his bill because, it was like, the job's done, but I mean, at what cost? And I guess, let me tell you the cost. So the actual insurance deductible was $1,000. So not too bad. I think the total cost to the insurance company was like 11 grand or something like that. So I paid the $1,000 deductible, but then I had to get a rental truck for 4 months. So that cost me like $8,000, and my insurance goes up. That's the thing about insurance. Yeah, it covers you, but then you pay for it in the long run. My insurance goes up. So all in, this cost me about $15,000 to resolve this issue. And needless to say, I never used that mechanic again. Never use that driver as a driver again. So a lot of lessons were learned here. Eventually I got the truck back, and I ended up selling the whole truck about a month after I got it back and just replaced it with a brand new one. So really that's it. That's the painful story for me anyways. Probably funny for you of the tree falling on my truck. If you own or operate a moving company and you want to learn from my mistakes, I actually have a moving company course that is literally step by step all the processes and things that I've learned over the years. That's available in the link in the description in this video. And until next time, I'd like to thank you for watching, and I hope you have a profitable day.